My sister got a shiny new car for her sweet 16. I got a used backpack and a lecture about earning what you want. So I earned what I wanted, a life without them. She's still making payments on the only thing they ever gave her. Hey everyone. My parents just sent me an email asking why I refused to help cover my sister's car repairs, and apparently I'm abandoning family because I won't chip in for maintenance on a vehicle I never agreed to be responsible for. Here's the thing though. That car has been my problem for way longer than they ever admitted. Let me back up and explain how a sweet 16 birthday present turned into my credit nightmare. My name's Jordan. I'm 28 now, and for most of my life I thought I understood the rules. Work hard, keep quiet, earn your way forward. My younger sister Emma is 24. Growing up, the dynamic was crystal clear to everyone except apparently my parents. Emma was the favorite, and I was the backup plan. I'm talking about the kind of favoritism that made aunts and uncles exchange looks across the Thanksgiving table. The kind where cousins would ask me privately if I was okay. The kind that was so blatant it would have been funny if it wasn't my entire childhood. When I turned 16, my birthday landed on a Wednesday. School day. Normal day. Mom handed me a card at breakfast. Inside was $60. Happy birthday, sweetheart, she said, kissing my forehead. Get yourself something nice. Dad looked up from his newspaper. You're getting older now. Time to start thinking about your future. About being responsible. About earning your own way in the world instead of expecting handouts. I remember nodding, thinking this was some kind of life lesson. That they were preparing me for the real world in a way that would make me stronger. That afternoon after school, they drove me to a big box discount store. The kind with fluorescent lights and concrete floors that smelled like cardboard and cleaning solution. Pick out a backpack for the school year, Mom said, steering me toward the clearance section in the back corner. Something sturdy. Something practical that'll last you through graduation. The clearance rack had maybe 15 options. Most were colors nobody wanted or brands nobody recognized. I chose one from the middle. Dark gray. Plain. Nothing special. $35 before tax. Dad nodded approvingly in the checkout line. Smart choice. See, this is what I'm talking about. You're learning the value of $1. Not everyone needs fancy brand names and expensive things just to fit in. You work with what you've got, and you make it last. That's character. He paid for it, handed me the bag, and that was it. No cake waiting at home. No dinner out. No party with friends. Just a clearance backpack and a lecture about responsibility. I told myself it made sense. They were teaching me to be humble. To not expect the world handed to me on a silver platter. To understand that good things come from hard work and patience. I carried that backpack every single day for the next 2 years. Even after the zipper broke 6 months in and I had to safety pin it shut. Even after the straps started fraying and the bottom developed a hole I patched with duct tape. Even after kids at school made comments about it looking like something from a thrift store. Because that's what Dad said. Make it last. Don't be wasteful. Appreciate what you have. Meanwhile, Emma got new clothes every season. New electronics when hers got slightly outdated. Money for movies and mall trips with friends whenever she asked. When I asked for $20 for a school trip, I got a lecture about budgeting and a suggestion to pick up some extra shifts. I was 14. I mowed lawns and did yard work for neighbors. Emma was 12 and got an allowance for existing. But I told myself it was fine. I was the older sibling. I was supposed to be more independent, more capable. That's just how it worked. For years later, when Emma turned 16, I came home from my evening shift at the grocery store and found our driveway transformed into something out of a car commercial. Balloons tied to the mailbox. Streamers wrapped around the porch railing. Neighbors standing on their lawns watching and filming on their phones. And in the middle of it all, a brand new car. Not used. Not a safe starter car with reasonable mileage and a history. A current year model, gleaming under the streetlights, wrapped with an enormous red bow across the hood. Custom license plate frame. Dealer tags still attached. The interior visible through the windows looked pristine. Emma stood on the front steps in her pajamas, hands over her mouth, crying. Mom was recording everything on her phone, narrating like a talk show host. Oh my goodness, baby, go look. Go see what we got you. Your dad and I have been planning this for so long. Dad stood next to the car with his arms spread wide, grinning bigger than I'd ever seen. He looked more proud in that moment than he'd looked at my high school graduation. Emma ran down the steps and burst into tears all over again when she saw the personalized license plate frame. Emma's right. She threw her arms around the hood like it was a person. We've been saving for this for months, Mom said, still filming, making sure to get Emma's reaction from every angle. Our baby girl deserves to be safe. Deserves to have reliable transportation. Nothing but the best for our princess. We just love you so much. Dad dangled the keys. Fully loaded. Bluetooth, backup camera, the whole package. We wanted you to have something you could count on. I stood at the edge of the driveway, still wearing my work shirt that smelled like rotting produce and floor cleaner, holding my keys to a beat-up 12-year-old sedan I'd bought with cash from working 2 jobs during community college. Nobody looked at me. Nobody said, "Oh hey, Jordan's home." Nobody acknowledged I was standing there. Emma threw her arms around Dad, then Mom. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This is the best day of my life. I can't believe this is mine. Mom uploaded the video to Facebook within the hour. The caption read, "Surprising our hard-working daughter with her dream car. She's earned this with her dedication to school and being such an amazing young woman. So proud of our girl. Hashtag best day ever, hashtag proud parents, hashtag sweet 16, hardworking." Emma had never held a job, not even babysitting, not even a summer position. Her idea of hard work was finishing her homework by Sunday night instead of Monday morning during homeroom. Meanwhile, I'd been working since I was 14, mowing lawns, then cashiering, then stocking shelves, then tutoring, then anything that would pay minimum wage and tolerate a high school schedule. But sure, Emma was the hardworking one. I went inside and microwaved leftover pasta for dinner while they took photos outside for another hour. My phone buzzed with notifications as relatives commented on the Facebook post. So generous. What wonderful parents. She's so blessed. That night, lying in my childhood bedroom that still had posters from middle school on the walls because I couldn't afford to redecorate, I didn't feel angry. I felt stupid. Stupid for believing that backpack meant something. That the lesson was real. That they were teaching me values that would pay off someday. They weren't teaching me anything. They were just giving me less and calling it character development. The pattern had been there my whole life. I just hadn't wanted to see it clearly. When Emma needed a new laptop for school, they bought her the latest model. When I needed one, they handed me a refurbished desktop from 2005 and said, "This still works fine." When Emma wanted to do dance classes, they paid for lessons, costumes, competition fees. When I wanted to join the robotics team, they said the materials fee was too expensive and I'd need to fundraise on my own. When Emma got a B-, they took her out for ice cream to celebrate her effort. When I got straight A's, they said, "Good. That's what we expect from you." Different rules, different worlds, same house. I moved out 3 months later when I started at the local community college. My parents made a big show of offering to let me stay home, but the conditions were clear: pay rent, follow their schedule, drive Emma places when she needed it, help with her college applications, contribute to household expenses. They wanted me to pay to live in my childhood bedroom while providing free labor. I chose a cramped apartment 40 minutes away with 2 roommates who left dirty dishes in the sink and ate my food without asking. It was better than staying. Over the next few years, I worked, studied, and kept my head down. My parents loved telling relatives I was fiercely independent and determined to make it on my own, like it was some admirable character trait instead of the only option they'd left me with. They never mentioned that they'd charged me $300 a month to live at home my senior year of high school while Emma lived there free. Never mentioned that they'd put utility bills in my name to help build my credit and then been late on payments. Never mentioned that every time I asked for help with college costs, they'd sigh and say, "We wish we could, but money's tight." You understand. Money was tight. Except when it came to Emma's car insurance. Her gas money. Her new laptop for college. Her spring break trip to Florida with friends. Her sorority fees. Then money appeared like magic. I worked full-time and went to school part-time. It took me 5 years to finish a degree that should have taken 4. I ate ramen and peanut butter sandwiches. I wore the same 3 pairs of jeans until they had holes in the knees. I calculated every purchase down to the penny. I watched my bank account like a hawk, terrified of overdraft fees I couldn't afford. Meanwhile, Emma posted Instagram photos from beach vacations and concerts and shopping trips. By the time I was 23, I'd finally saved enough to think about renting my own place. A real place. 1 bedroom, my name only on the lease, no roommates stealing my groceries or having loud arguments at 2 in the morning. I found a small apartment near my job. Nothing fancy, but it had a kitchen window that got morning light and a bathroom I wouldn't have to share. I filled out the application on my lunch break, sitting in my car with my phone, entering every detail carefully. Income, stable. References, solid. Rental history, clean. I paid the application fee and felt something I hadn't felt in years. Hope. Real hope that I was finally building something stable. 3 days later, the landlord called. "Hey Jordan, thanks for applying. Your income looks good. Your references checked out fine. But I've got to be honest with you. There's an issue with your credit report." My stomach dropped. What kind of issue? Well, you've got an auto loan here with some late payments over the past year. And your overall debt-to-income ratio is higher than what you listed on the application. I want to work with you, but I need to understand what's going on before I can approve this. I pulled over into a parking lot. I don't have an auto loan. I own my car. I paid cash for it 3 years ago. Silence on the other end. Are you sure? Because this shows a loan opened when you were 19. It's still active. Monthly payment of $372. There are also a couple of credit cards showing activity. My hands went cold. Can you send me the report? I'll email it right now. I sat in that parking lot for 20 minutes staring at my phone screen, reading the same lines over and over. Auto loan. Opened 4 years ago. Primary borrower, my name. Co-signers, my parents. Monthly payment, $372. Total amount financed, just under $18,000. Make and model, exact match to Emma's car. Payment history, mostly on time, but with 6 late payments scattered across the past 18 months. Each one a black mark on my credit. Current balance, still over $14,000 owed. And below that, 2 credit cards. Both in my name. Both with balances. One showed charges from a car dealership service center. Oil changes. Tire rotations. New brake pads. An alignment. The other showed charges from boutiques, restaurants, and salons that Emma tagged in her Instagram posts. I felt sick. I called the lender. Spent 45 minutes on hold. Got transferred 3 times. Finally reached someone in the loan department. "Yes, this is your account," the woman said, her voice polite and detached. "You're listed as the primary borrower. Your parents are co-signers, but the loan is in your name. I never applied for a car loan. According to our records, you were present at signing and provided your social security number and identification." I tried to think back. For years, I just turned 19. Spring semester of my second year at community college. I was taking 15 credits and working 30 hours a week at 2 different jobs. My parents called me one afternoon, said they needed me to come to the bank with them. "Just for an hour, we're setting up a family emergency fund. We want to add you so you can access it if something happens to us. It's responsible planning. You're an adult now, you should be on these accounts." It sounded reasonable. Responsible, even. I met them during my break between classes. Rushed. Stressed. Behind on reading for 2 different courses and exhausted from closing shifts. They handed me papers at a desk with a loan officer who smiled blandly and said, "Just need your signature here, and here." "What am I signing?" I asked. "Authorization forms," Dad said. "So you can access the emergency fund if needed." I signed. I trusted them. I was 19 and exhausted, and I trusted them. They'd used that moment to lock my name onto a loan for a car I'd never driven. A car they gave to Emma with a bow and a viral video and comments about what generous parents they were. For 4 years, they'd been making payments. Barely. Just enough to avoid default, but not enough to avoid late fees and credit damage. Every late payment hit my credit report. Every interest charge added to my debt ratio. Every missed due date made me look unreliable to future landlords and lenders. And I'd had absolutely no idea. I sat in my car outside that bank for an hour, reading through the credit report line by line. The credit cards had been opened the same week as the loan, both in my name. My parents listed as authorized users with their own physical cards. They'd been using my identity as a cushion, as backup, as insurance for their favoritism. The only reason my credit wasn't completely destroyed was because they'd paid just enough each month to keep the accounts barely current. Just enough to avoid collections. Just enough to keep using my name. I drove straight to their house. Didn't call. Didn't text. Just walked in through the side door like I'd done 1,000 times growing up. They were in the living room watching some home renovation show. Emma was upstairs, music playing from her room. I put the credit report on the coffee table between us. "Explain this to me." Mom glanced at it. Her expression shifted immediately. Not guilt. Not shame. Annoyance. Where did you get that? From the landlord who just denied my rental application because apparently I've been carrying a car loan for 4 years that nobody told me about. Dad picked up the papers, skimmed them, set them back down. Okay, so you found out. What's the big problem here? The problem? I kept my voice level. The problem is you put my name on a loan without telling me what I was signing. You've been making late payments that damaged my credit. I can't rent an apartment because of this. Mom crossed her arms. We told you we were setting up accounts. You were there. You signed the papers. Don't act like we forged your signature. You told me it was an emergency fund. You never said anything about a car loan or credit cards. Dad leaned back in his chair. Jordan, we needed your name to get better loan terms. Your credit was clean back then. It helped the family get a better interest rate. That's what families do. They help each other out. We've been making the payments. You're not losing money. Help. The word came out sharper than I intended. You've been using my credit to buy Emma a car. You never asked me. You lied about what I was signing. And now I'm being denied housing because of your late payments. We're making the payments, Mom said, her voice rising. It's not like we're making you pay for it. You're not losing money. This is just paperwork. Stop being so dramatic about this. I'm being denied an apartment. I said, my credit score dropped 60 points because you couldn't make payments on time. You used my identity without my permission. Do you understand that's fraud? That's illegal. Emma appeared at the top of the stairs. What's going on? Why are you yelling? Nobody answered her. Dad stood up. Look, I'll call the bank tomorrow. We'll get this straightened out. But you need to calm down and stop acting like we committed some terrible crime. We're your parents. We did what we thought was best for the family. For everyone. I looked at both of them. Really looked. These were the people who'd taught me about earning what I wanted. About responsibility. About not expecting handouts. And they'd been using my name as collateral for their lies. You know what the worst part is? I said quietly. It's not even the money. It's that you looked me in the eye and lied. You told me I needed to earn everything while you were literally stealing my credit to give her things she didn't earn. You made me feel like I was the problem for wanting help while you were using me without asking. Mom's face flushed. Don't you dare make us sound like criminals. We gave you a roof over your head. We fed you. We raised you. This is how you repay us. I picked up the credit report. I'm going to fix this. On my own. Don't try to stop me. Mom's voice followed me to the door, shrill and defensive. You're overreacting. We're your parents. You owe us more respect than this. Everything we did was for this family. I left. The next morning, I called in sick to work and spent 8 hours researching credit law, identity theft, and fraud. I made lists. I organized every document I had. I screenshotted everything. By evening, I had the name of a lawyer who specialized in credit disputes and family financial fraud. Her name was Ms. Reyna. I met with her 3 days later in an office that smelled like coffee and old books. She reviewed everything I'd brought. Bank statements, the credit report, photos of the original documents I'd signed, my class schedule from 4 years ago showing I'd been in class when certain forms claimed I'd received verbal explanation of loan terms. She looked up at me over her reading glasses. This is fixable, but it's going to get ugly. Your parents are going to fight back hard. They'll say you're lying, that you knew what you were signing, that this is a family matter that doesn't belong in legal channels. Are you prepared for that? Yes. And you understand this might permanently damage your relationship with them? I thought about the backpack, the clearance rack, the $60 birthday, the years of being told to earn what I wanted while watching Emma get everything handed to her on a sparkling platter paid for with my stolen identity. The relationship is already damaged, I said. They just don't know it yet. Ms. Reyna nodded slowly. Then let's get started. We drafted a formal letter to the bank. It was 3 pages long, citing specific violations of lending regulations and including a detailed timeline that proved I couldn't have been present for several key parts of the application process. The bank's legal department responded within 2 weeks requesting an in-person meeting. I took the day off work, put on the one professional outfit I owned, a button-down shirt and slacks I'd bought from a thrift store for interviews. Met Ms. Reyna in the parking lot of the bank's regional office. We sat across from 3 bank representatives and their lawyer in a conference room with too much air conditioning and uncomfortable chairs. They had the file pulled up on a laptop screen. The loan application shows you as the primary borrower. the lead representative said, a middle-aged man in a suit that probably cost more than my monthly rent. You signed in multiple places. Your social security number matches. Your identification was verified at the time of application. Ms. Reyna leaned forward. Can you show us documentation that my client was informed this was an auto loan and not an account authorization? Where's the written disclosure explaining the terms? They exchanged glances. The loan officer's notes indicate terms were explained verbally during the application process. Do you have a recording of that verbal explanation? No. Written confirmation sent to my client explaining the loan terms and payment schedule? All statements were mailed to the co-signer's address per the application setup. So my client, listed as the primary borrower, never received any loan statements. Never got payment reminders. Never was contacted about late payments that were actively damaging his credit score. Does that sound like proper lending procedure to you? The bank's lawyer whispered something to the representatives. They shuffled papers. Ms. Reyna continued. Furthermore, my client's class attendance records show he was in an exam during the time your documents claim he received extensive verbal explanation of a multi-year auto loan. He was told he was signing emergency account authorization. That's misrepresentation at best, fraud at worst. We'd like to request a short recess, the lead representative said. Ms. Reyna smiled thinly. Take all the time you need. They came back 20 minutes later with an offer. The bank would restructure the loan, moving my parents to primary borrower status. They'd remove my name from the associated credit cards entirely. They'd issue formal letters to all 3 credit bureaus documenting the error and requesting removal of negative marks. In exchange, I'd sign a release agreeing not to pursue further legal action against the bank or discuss the matter publicly. I looked at Ms. Reyna. It's a reasonable offer, she said quietly. You get what you want without a long, expensive court battle. But it's your decision. I turned to the bank representatives. I want it in writing. Every single detail. And I want confirmation that my name is completely removed from all accounts within 30 days. Not 45. Not 60. 30. Agreed. And I want copies of all communications sent to my parents about this restructuring. They hesitated. Ms. Reyna raised an eyebrow. Is there a problem? No. Agreed. We signed papers for the next hour. My hand cramped from all the signatures. When we walked out into the parking lot, Ms. Reyna shook my hand. You did good, Jordan. A lot of people wouldn't have fought this. They would have just accepted it as the cost of family. I didn't have a choice. You had a choice. You chose yourself. That's not easy when it's family. Be proud of that. The bank processed the changes over the next 6 weeks. During that time, my parents were called in for multiple meetings. They had to provide additional documentation, answer uncomfortable questions about the application process, explain discrepancies in their statements. The loan was restructured with them as primary borrowers. The interest rate increased because their credit wasn't as clean as mine had been at 19. The monthly payment went up by almost $80. And now every single late payment, every missed due date, every fee would hit their credit report directly. No cushion, no backup, no using someone else's name to soften the blow. Just consequences. Emma called me 4 times during those weeks. I didn't answer. She texted repeatedly. Why are you doing this? I don't understand. Mom and Dad gave me the car because they love me. You're being selfish and vindictive, and you're hurting them for no reason. I replied once. They gave you a car. They gave me debt I didn't agree to. I'm fixing what they broke. Enjoy your gift. Then I blocked her number. My parents tried a different approach. They showed up at my apartment on a Saturday morning, pounding on the door. I saw them through the window and didn't open it. We talked through the wood. Me on one side, them on the other. You've embarrassed us in front of the bank, Dad said, his voice tight with anger. They treated us like we're criminals. Our credit is going to take a hit because of your tantrum. You used my identity without my consent, I said calmly. That's called fraud. Be grateful I didn't file a police report. We're your parents. Mom's voice cracked. We raised you. We fed you. We clothed you. We gave you everything. And this is how you repay us? By destroying our credit and turning your back on your sister? I opened the door just wide enough to see their faces. They looked older, tired, angry. You taught me to earn what I want, I said quietly. So I did. I earned a clean credit report. I earned a life where my name belongs to me. I earned the right to not be used as a financial tool. That's what I'm keeping. That's what you gave me, even if you didn't mean to. Mom started crying. Please. We're sorry. We didn't think it would hurt you this much. Can't we just talk about this like adults? Like family. There's nothing to talk about. You made your choice when you signed my name 4 years ago. I'm making mine now. Dad's jaw clenched. You're going to regret this. Family is all you've got in this world. You're going to end up alone. I'd rather be alone than be used. I closed the door. They banged on it for another minute, then left. They didn't come back. The credit bureaus processed the corrections over the next few months. My score climbed slowly, point by point, as the fraudulent marks were investigated and removed. I reapplied for the apartment in October. Different landlord, same building, better unit. This time, I got approved. I moved in on a cold Saturday in November with everything I owned fitting in my car and a borrowed truck from a coworker. My colleagues helped me carry furniture up 3 flights of stairs. We ordered pizza after. Nobody asked why my family wasn't there. That night, I sat on my second-hand couch in my own living room and cried for 20 minutes straight. Not sad crying. Not really. Just the kind of crying that happens when something that's been pressing on your chest for years finally lets go. I finished my degree that spring. Started applying for better jobs. Got hired at a small marketing firm with actual benefits, paid time off, and a salary that didn't require a calculator to budget every purchase. My parents sent emails every few months. Always the same message in different words. We miss you. This has gone on long enough. Family is supposed to forgive. When are you going to let this go and come home? I responded the same way every time. I am home. Through cousins and old family friends, I heard updates I never asked for, but somehow always received. Emma's car had broken down twice in 2 years. Major repairs both times. Transmission issues, then the air conditioning system. My parents couldn't afford to just pay off the loan and be done with it, so Emma was stuck making payments on a depreciating asset she couldn't sell because they owed more than it was worth. My parents had refinanced their house to consolidate debt and manage the increased car payment along with other obligations they'd been juggling. Dad was doing inventory counts at a warehouse on Saturdays. Mom was selling craft supplies and vintage items online from their garage, shipping packages on her lunch breaks. The shiny gift they'd given Emma kept costing them more and more. And Emma, who'd never worked before that car appeared in the driveway, had to get her first real job just to cover insurance and gas money. She posted about it on social media once. A photo in a retail vest with a caption about learning what real life is like LOL #adulting #first job. I didn't react, didn't comment, didn't reach out. I just kept building, kept working, kept saving, kept proving to myself that I could stand on my own without their help or their sabotage. 3 years after I left, I got promoted. Team lead. Salary increase. My own office with a door. I was shopping at Target on a Saturday afternoon, pushing a cart through the grocery section when I saw her. Emma. At the checkout counter. Scanning items for a line of impatient customers. Wearing the red vest. She looked different. Older. Tired in a way that wasn't just physical. The kind of exhaustion that comes from standing for 8-hour shifts dealing with people who treat you like you're invisible. She saw me in line. Her eyes went wide. I didn't make a scene, just quietly moved to a different register on the other side of the store. But as I was loading bags into my car, she appeared next to me in the parking lot. Jordan, wait, please. I stopped, turned around. She looked smaller than I remembered. Hair pulled back in a messy ponytail. No makeup. Circles under her eyes. The kind of exhausted that comes from too many closing shifts. I wanted to say I'm sorry, she said, words tumbling out fast like she'd been practicing this speech for months. I didn't know. About the loan. About your name being on it. I swear I didn't know. I thought they'd just saved up and bought it outright. I was 16 and stupid, and I didn't ask questions. I didn't know you were getting hurt because of me. I believed her. She'd been a kid. Spoiled and oblivious, yes. But not malicious. Not deliberately cruel. Okay, I said. I tried to give it back, she continued, her voice breaking slightly. After everything came out. When I found out what they'd done. I told them to take it, sell it, do whatever they needed to do. But they said we're underwater on the loan, and if we stop paying it'll wreck their credit now. And they're already struggling with bills, so I'm just stuck with it. I'm paying for a car that's falling apart, and I can't even afford to replace it because I'm trapped in this stupid loan. I didn't feel triumphant. Didn't feel vindicated. Just tired. I'm sorry that's happening to you, I said. But it's not my responsibility to fix. I know. She looked at her shoes. I know it's not. I just wanted you to know I didn't mean for any of this. And I get why you left. I understand now. I understand what it's like to work for everything and still feel like you're drowning. Good. I started to get in my car. Do you think we'll ever be normal again? She asked. Like as siblings? As a family? Do you think there's any chance of that? I paused with my hand on the door handle. Thought about it honestly. I don't know, I said. Maybe someday. But not while they're still pretending what they did was okay. And not while I'm expected to act like it didn't matter. Not while the condition of having a relationship is me pretending the past didn't happen. She nodded slowly. That's fair. That's really fair. Take care of yourself, Emma. You too. I got in my car and drove back to my apartment, to the life I'd built from nothing. That was 3 years ago. I'm 28 now. I rent a 2-bedroom place in a quiet neighborhood because I can afford it and I like having space. I have savings. A retirement account that's actually growing. A job I genuinely like most days. I'm seeing someone who thinks my boundaries are healthy, not cruel. Someone who understands that protecting yourself isn't the same as being vindictive. I haven't spoken to my parents in almost 6 years. Emma and I text maybe twice a year. Polite. Distant. Birthday wishes and holiday greetings. Nothing deep. She's still working retail. Still making payments on that car. She told me last Christmas she's planning to drive it until it completely dies, then start fresh with something she chooses herself. My parents tried one last time 8 months ago. They sent a card on my birthday with a long letter inside about forgiveness and family, and how they've learned from their mistakes, and wish we could all move past this difficult time. The letter never actually apologized for what they did, just expressed regret that I took it so personally and let it damage our relationship so severely. I didn't respond. According to my cousin, they're doing okay. Not great, but stable. They had to sell the house and move into a smaller rental. They're both still working, will probably work several years longer than they'd originally planned before retirement. The thing is, I don't sit around hoping they suffer. I don't wish bad things on them. I just don't think about them much anymore. They exist in the past, in the part of my life that taught me exactly who I could trust and who I couldn't, who saw me as a person and who saw me as a resource. They taught me to earn what I wanted. So I earned freedom. I earned peace. I earned a life where nobody can sign my name to something without my knowledge or consent. I earned boundaries that nobody gets to cross just because we share DNA. They earned what they wanted too. A viral video moment where they looked like perfect parents giving their princess a perfect gift. Hundreds of likes and comments telling them how generous they were. That brief, shining moment of looking like heroes. They can keep that moment. They can keep the video and the memories and the comments. I'm keeping everything I built after I walked away from it. My sister got a brand new car wrapped in a bow and a decade of payments she can't escape. I got a clearance rack backpack and a lecture about earning what I want. The difference is simple. She's still tied to what they gave her, still paying for their version of love, still trapped in a decision she didn't make. I'm free. And that freedom, the ability to build my own life on my own terms, with my own name belonging only to me, is worth more than anything they could have put in my driveway. If this story gave you that heavy feeling in your chest, you're not alone. Like and subscribe. And if you want, share your situation in the comments. I read them.